All right, let's talk about it. Let's talk about scales. Let's talk about scales right now. What's the pattern of every major scale? Whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step. So what does that mean? What does that mean? Or how many steps it takes. So let's do this. We all know that in a key of C, right, there are no sharps or flats, right? That's better. There are no sharps and flats. So we'll just build a C major scale. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. For those that can't read music fast enough, I'll just do this. All right. So I got a C major scale there. I got a C major scale. So if we go through here and look at this, the difference between them, the distance between this, what's the distance between C and D? It's a whole step. Why is it a whole step? There's a note between it. There's a note between it. So that's a whole step. Between D and E. This is because there's a D sharp or E flat between it. Between E and F. Half step. Why? There isn't an E sharp or a F flat, right? There's not a note between it. So this is a half step. Between F and G. Whole step, same thing. G and A. Whole step. A and B. Whole step. B and C. And why is it half step? Nothing in between the B and the C. Very good. Half step. So that's a pattern of every major scale. It's whole step, half step, whole step, half step. That's a pattern of every major scale. Follows that. So theoretically, if I get rid of this here, now let's say I want to build a scale starting on, let's say D. Let's say D. So I'm going to start off with D. So first off, what's the pattern again of a major scale? Whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. Okay, there we go. So between D and what's a whole step? E. Okay. Between E and what's a whole step? Okay, so F sharp, right? Because between E and F, that's a half step. So I've got to increase the value. So I'll put a sharp there. All right? Between F sharp and what is a half step? G. Between G and what is a whole step? A. Between A and what is a whole step? B. Between B and what is a whole step? It's not C, right? It has to be C sharp. Because a B to C is a half step. And between C and what's a half step? So this pattern works with, theoretically, I can give you B flat, F, F sharp, whatever. And if you use your guitar or piano or whatever the case it is, you can figure out the distance between using this method here. Now, let's go over parts of the major scale. There's some things that go along with every major scale. First off, every major scale has to have only one letter name. It has to have one A, one B, one C, one D, one E, one F, one G, one, and so forth. That's it. That's it. That's all you have. You can only have one A. You can't have A flat or A sharp and A natural. There's only one A. So let's do this. Let's build a scale. Let's say we're going to build an E scale. Okay? So first thing I do is I start off what? E. Then I just do what? Well, I can do that. But since I know the letter names are basically, there's 7 letter names, I can just go right up the scale, right? So I can do, here's an E, here's an F, here's a G, here's an A, here's a B, here's a C, here's a D, and then it goes back to the octave, which is E. So first off, I got at least some notes there already. Now I need to go and check if it's whole step, half step. Between E and F is what? Half step. So what do I need to do? Add a sharp. Between F sharp and G is what? It's supposed to be a whole step, but right now it's a... So I need to add a G sharp to make it a whole step. Between G sharp and A is what? That fits. Between A and B is what? Whole step, okay, that fits. Between B and C is what? Half step. What do we need? We need a whole step, so we make it C sharp. Between C and D is what? Half step, but what do we need? Whole step. So what do we do? Add a sharp. And between D sharp and E is what? Half step. Any questions on that? Yes, sir. Between E, try it on your guitar. E and F. Let's play E and F right now. Is there a note between E and F? Okay, so that's a half step. So to increase it, yeah, it has to be a note between those notes. It has to be a note between an E and an F. In that case, there isn't any. So to make it a whole step, I'm going to have to increase the value of one of the notes. Either I make that go up, or make this go backwards, but then it'd be E flat. So, since we're... No, it's like that on every scale. Yeah, this works for whatever, bassoon, doesn't matter what instrument. Works for every scale. Any questions about this here? Yes, sir. I'll give you a note. I'll put down E and then write out the E major scale, or G or whatever. Yeah, you use your guitar. All right. So that's one way of figuring out how to write down whether it's sharp or flat or whatever it is. Another way is by using your key signatures. Let's go over key signatures a little bit. We realize now to make the pattern of whole half step, whole half step, I have to alter notes. The only scale that doesn't have any sharps or flats is what? Is C. That's the only one that doesn't have any sharps or flats. All the rest of them, I got to alter the scale somehow. I have to add something to it. Because I'm going to have one A, B, C, D, E, F, or G. All right? So if I got, this is the key signature for what key right now? C. C. This has no sharps or flats. All right? So if I do this, what's that the key signature of? G. All right, so that's the key signature of G. That one? D. A. E. Yeah, I'm kind of running out of space here now. B. Yes. Now you notice this. You notice this here. Here's an F. F is sharp in all the sharp keys. Okay? F is sharp in all the sharp keys. All I'm doing is I'm adding an additional sharp. Once I add that sharp, it stays constant from that point on. I have 2 sharps. They're the same ones. I have 3 sharps. They say, what, 4 sharps. They stay from that point on. So I'm just adding an additional sharp to it to make it fit that way. And so that way, if I ask you to write out an E major scale, well, I can say, all right, well, okay, I can just do this. And then I can say, well, there's an F sharp, and there's a G sharp, C sharp, and a D sharp. And there I got the scale. So that's why you can memorize, if you memorize your key signatures, you can just do that. When I think of my keys, I don't do whole step, half step. I don't do that method. I just know E has 4 sharps. And what are they? F, C, G, and D. Automatically I know that. Just like the flat keys. B flat has 2 flats, B and E flat. Put that in there, bam, it works. So that's why you learn your key signatures. But there is a schema, there's a form to it. It's not just random. It follows something that's logical along with it. If you look at this here, the distance between C and G is what? It's 5. Distance between G and D? 5, 5, 5, 5. So we have that relationship of a 5. So if you can memorize that C has no sharps or flats, and you can count up 5 notes, C, D, E, F, G, that gets you your first sharp key. Your second sharp key, G, A, B, C, D. See how that works? So if I can count 5 each time, and remember what sharp I have in there. D to A, D, E, really it's F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B. See how that works? And what would be the next one? What would be the next one? B, C sharp, D sharp, E, F sharp. So F sharp would have 6 sharps in it. So that would be the next one. What would be the next one after F sharp? F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, B, C sharp. So that's the one that has 7. That's the one that has 7 sharps. And then that's the sharp keys at that point. See how it's logical that way? And then also the sharps. Let's look at this here. Method. There's F sharp. What's this? This is between F sharp and C sharp. What is it? F sharp. 5. How about to G sharp? 5. D sharp. 5. A sharp. 5. And so forth. I keep on going that way. That's the relationship of it. So if you remember 5, that's one reason why they have that circle of fifths that they talk about. If I draw a circle, C's at 12 o'clock, and I just go down a line. Well, 1 sharp is G, 2 sharp is D, 3 sharps is A, 4 sharps is E, 5 sharps is B, 6 sharps is F sharp, 7 sharps is C sharp. And then you go right in there. Well, I know that the first sharp is what? First sharp. It's actually going to be an F sharp, right? The first sharp you add to the key. So then I just count out 5 from that point. So well, F sharp, and this one then I have C sharp, G sharp, D sharp, A sharp, E sharp, and sharp. Now, think about this. If I say E sharp, hey, there's no such thing as an E sharp, is there? Between E and F, there's not a note there. So what would be an E sharp theoretically? Yeah, it sounds like the pitch F. But we have to make it fit that pattern of a major scale, because we have to have A, B, C, D, E, F, or G in it. It has to work that way. I have to alter that E sharp, or that, in case, at the very last one, B sharp, which really sounds like what? Sounds like C. Any questions on these key signatures here? How do you figure them out? Yes, sir. Anything else? Rock and roll.